Welcome back to the Dreamhack Online Invitationals for Dota 2, where we're down to 5 teams.
Yeah,
down to 5 teams. Yeah. I've come back. I finished crying and punching my players in the face simultaneously, which was a weird feeling overall for all of us. But I'm ready to cast again.
Yes.
We had an interview with Fly a little bit earlier, and as much as I really want my team to win in a way, you can't dislike Fnatic. They're just like a great bunch of guys. They're one of the most marketable teams out there. Great personalities and a really nice interview from Fly. So congratulations to Fnatic. They'll be going up against No Tidehunter. But of course we're here. We're back again for another best of 3. Plenty of Dota as we're going to go into Empire versus Team Dignitas.
It's going to be a sick match. Can't wait. These two teams actually have already kind of played, but we do have more pregame to talk about, and of course for that, we have the stat man.
Yeah, let's hand it over to Bruno to introduce the team.
Thank you, Bruno.
Bruno and co.
You're not even in the broadcaster list, man.
I don't care. I'm just an observer.
We have some heroes there. I don't know why we have
This is Empire, I predict.
Oh, that's your prediction from Empire?
Yep.
That's really interesting. We'll
and
see if it
the other team has no heroes.
No, the other team is like...
Zenith, no bans, no picks.
But yeah, of course, we're talking about Empire versus Dignitas. These teams know themselves too well, and they know each other. That's because, of course, it's important to know yourself. But we're going for some stats.
How often do you get to know yourself, Bruno?
Every time I go to the mirror, James.
Brilliant.
Yes. So somehow the record is missing, but whatever. I remember that by heart, because I'm really good. So it's... Team Empire versus Team Dignitas. Team Empire, 199 games played, 60% record, which is pretty decent. Not been doing really well. Its last 10, it's 4 and 6. But of those 4 and 6, the thing that stands is that they only won one of those game of 3, the best of 3 series that they played. So it's 4 best of 3 series where they lost 3 of them and they only won 1. So I mean, it's not been doing so well for them these recent days. On the other side, we have Dignitas, which has 169 games played, 64% win rate. It's 108 versus 61, which is really, really good. Yep. And they've been doing particularly well these last days. 7 and 3 in the last 10, only losing to Team Liquid in the finals of the D12 yesterday. Yeah. So before that, they've been doing extremely, extremely well. And they've been facing each other 23 times. The record is actually 15 and 8. I remember that because I wrote it down. I don't know why it's not there.
Double check it.
Yeah, so it's 15 and 8. Empire winning this one, but Team Dignitas has taken 4 out of the last 5 that they played. So Dignitas having an edge not only in their streak recently, not only in the record, but also on the recent matches between these two teams. So enough about stats. Let's introduce the teams.
What happened to the team records? Did you bring that up? When they met 23 times?
23 times.
Yeah, he just said that.
Oh, okay.
You zoned out.
But no one can. I was telling.
That's what I
was
said.
telling. Snaking was like the king has other places to conquer, and I told him silence.
Silence.
Silence. You will play. You will sit here and wait for us and play this game.
Hell yeah. Okay. Teams.
Damn.
And sneaking is missing because we didn't upload. Yeah, just click on upload images. And it'll appear. Look, we'll make.
Let's start without him.
Just yeah. This is your turn. This is your chance.
We have our 2000 on the carry role for Dignitas. Fog, solo mid. Way too sexy, playing support. Universe offlane and sneaking solo mid as well. So they have 2 solo mids.
Yeah, Fog is now playing. Fog is now playing support as well.
Fog is
playing solo mid.
That's true. I should know that by heart. So onwards to Empire. Blow Your Brain is their carry. Goblack, support. Scandal, offlane. Gone to offlane from mid. Silent, support. And Vigos, the new solo mid player.
Vigos, my favorite player. Yeah. I enjoy casting
Let's
Vigos
see how he does today. We've flamed him on some other broadcasts here. Hopefully he can do better today.
Probably he'll do better today. Anyways, that's it for the teams. We're going back to you guys, and you probably can take us to the game.
Yes, the game is going to be started here, assuming everybody actually reconnects. I don't know why this happens, but either way, we're going to get inside the game, of course.
Inside the game, trademark.
Inside trademark, yes, of course. But in this matchup, I really have to favor Dignitas. They've been rolling lately. They just placed second in a D2L, of course, losing to Team Liquid, so that's a little bit of an unfortunate loss. But on their way there, they pretty much just trashed everybody. I mean, they just got to the finals all the way through the winners bracket, didn't drop a single match, just played awesome the entire time. And of course, Empire, they've had their struggles lately, of course, with the Vegas, but Vegas making the transition mid and such. So
they've had their struggles lately. They had to pick up Vegas. What?
No, that's not what I said. I said
sounds like that.
They have had troubles, and they have also got Vegas mid now, and Scandal, of course, in the off lane. But he's made the return to middle lane periodically. He played Clinks in mid the other day, and he's actually done it a couple more times other than that. So I think for Empire, they're probably going to stick to the normal style. There's no real reason to deviate, because when you do that, then you put yourself in an even weaker position, in my opinion. But I do favor Dignitas here. Like Bruno said, the last, 5 times?
Mainly because they're all on your friends list, I can see. Look at that.
Yeah, they're all my friends.
You got none of Team Empire. Scriff, though, we're in his observer slot. He has no friends.
It's unfortunate. He just gave me the look of like, why would you say that about me? I'm so sad now. I actually feel bad because of what you said.
Well, you've got all the Dignitas on your friends list, so...
Yeah. They're all Han players, man, except for Aoi. I don't think Aoi played Han.
Yeah.
Either way.
Anyway, we might end up restarting this game soon.
Yeah.
Just to talk about where they came from, the groups. Dignitas came in second in their group.
Third.
Empire came in third. Empire are in Cupid Red Panda's group that you just saw, and also Node Hide Hunters, and also Virtus Pro that didn't make it through, so they were dropped before the playoffs, unfortunately. And yeah, Dignitas came through second. They actually beat out Fnatic, but they did get a 1-0 lead for Fnatic, unfortunately not able to turn up on time. They were in another tournament at the time, but we allowed them to kind of play on from a 0-1 deficit. And... if Dignitas, as you say, are the favourites in this matchup, if they do take this, you're going to have a Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid rematch, which was, of course, the D2L matchup that you casted just yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
That, Team Liquid won. So, Empire, maybe you could say they're the underdogs, but only slightly. With Dignitas, you never really know what you're going to get. I mean, they really like putting in, like, Darkseer, for example, but... I always find them as a team. I was kind of surprised how well they did in D2L, I have to admit. Like, some of their matches were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they really were.
But that's the thing, is like, you don't know if they're going to bring that form today versus Empire. If they're not, or when they played versus Team Liquid, it was obviously all on US servers. Playing here versus Empire, we're going to be switching up, I believe, the servers. Bruno's in charge of all of that. He's thumbs up for switching up servers. And we have made it, at least now, into the bans and drafts. So... this match, same as Cupid Red Pandas and Fnatic, win it, $1,000 minimum, moving on to the semi-finals, which will be played on the 13th. Finish here, unfortunately, you're out of the prize money and the tournament here. And it's also worth mentioning that Dreamhack have also put up a direct invitation to Dreamhack Summer.
Yep.
I think their prize pool is just over $40,000.
It's 40,000.
Yeah, almost 40,000 euros, so yeah, like maybe $45,000. So getting a direct invite here is going to be great for these teams. Obviously, Michael O'Dell, longtime owner of of projects, I say in esports, but certainly one of the most, I would say, well-known members in terms of the team owners. Definitely will be looking for his team to qualify, and definitely will be getting their flights and hotels booked for Dreamhack Summer if Team Dignitas are able to go all the way to the finals. But they've got a long road still, and we have our first bans and our first pick. And actually, it's Team Empire that are going to be taking the Darkseer.
Now, like you said, Dignitas actually love picking Darkseer. They put it on Universe all the time. It's one of those heroes that you can win pretty much any situation. It's so difficult to really keep him down, and what makes that so devastating is not necessarily because of his skill set, but because he's a hero who can farm in dangerous spots, who goes for quick mech. Having that kind of an item in a very early stage in the game makes him very, very potent. So Dignitas, the first answer to that is going to be a Gyrocopter and Nature's Prophet, who has been seeing like a huge boom recently in terms of overall popularity. Of course, Fnatic, we talked about them using it in the previous match, and we're going to get a chance to see it here on the side of Dignitas now. So that does open up their lanes quite a bit. Gyrocopter has been played mid on Team Dignitas. They put him in the safe lane. They supported him. Yep. You can pretty much do it all with both of their heroes so far.
Yeah, and Nature's Prophet, you know, accompanied with Gyrocopter, Nature's Prophet. Team Dignitas seem to, their games go quite long. Nature's Prophet can buy a lot of time for that Gyro to be able to farm. But I do feel like these teams are quite similarly kind of, not strategy, but the kind of heroes that they like to pick and the playstyle they like to pick is, I find, quite similar. It's more about the big kind of team fights. You know, getting heroes that really contribute a lot. You can see there with Darkseer and Puck. still a very good combo. So all our first bans are done, as you see. Taking away Wisp from Team Empire is like taking it away from Fnatic, maybe kind of a necessity. And we're actually going to see a TA, Templar Assassin, for Team Dignitas.
This is a bit strange to me. Now, before we saw Dignitas play Templar Assassin in the D2L playoffs, and what ended up happening is they did end up pitting it against the puck, and of course TA wins that matchup pretty handily, able to get a tremendous amount of CS.
Did they win that game, Team Dignitas, as well?
Yeah, they
stomped
crushed it.
I remember TA diving base, BKB, Bling Dagger was just steamrolling. So, yeah, as you were saying about the TA pick.
Yeah, the TA, the thing is, you see the Darkseer, so you know that they could potentially just put Scandal mid on the Darkseer against the TA. That can definitely happen, and then TA struggles. So do Dignitas anticipate that, put the TA maybe in the safe lane, look to run an aggressive trailing with the Gyrocopter +2, jungle the Nature's Prophet, or do they just put the Nature's Prophet in the middle lane and then just have the tri-lane there, of course? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, and that's what makes Dignitas drafting so nice to see, is that other than the TA, you pretty much know, or excuse me, aside from the TA, you don't know where the other two heroes are going to be going, at least for a while yet. We haven't seen any of the supports picked up. So I think it's a bit of a risk picking a TA against a lineup that Empire have, because they have such big bursts between Illuminate. Of course, you have to worry about Vacuum, Ion Shell into Wall, and then the Coil, you have Waning Rift and Illusory Orb. So there is a tremendous amount of teamfight burst on the side of Empire, whereas Dignitas, they're more relying on getting a couple of levels before they're going to want to take their engagements.
All right, and since I've been sat here pretending to be a Dota 2 commentator for a little while, I just wanted to ask, Empire, I always get their names wrong. 333 is actually...
Goblak.
Goblak.
Yes.
And
then SS is silent.
And then Vigos
yes.
is on Opa.
Yeah.
And who's that? I can't remember that guy. Top of
Way Too Sexy.
Way Too Sexy. You got a silly name, Way Too Sexy. Fix it.
It is very silly, and he never actually uses his official name for matches. He'll
He's
do like
WTS.
WTS.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, they're
Right.
young,
Now
reckless.
I'm up to speed. I'm ready to commentate the international.
You know,
Thank you.
this is good. This is good. So the Dignitas, again, they have a lineup. It's level reliant. It's very reminiscent of what we saw the Cupid Red Pandas pick in the last series in Game 3 against Fnatic. They just had this lineup that kind of wants level 6. They definitely want Psionic Trap. They want their Prophet to reach level 6 for split pushing potential, and they need Call Down pretty much. But Empire, they've got stability pretty much as well as their team fight, because a Keeper is very good at counter push. He's very good in the defensive position. You can abuse your jungle. You have a Darkseer who can jungle himself if he absolutely has to. He can go mid against a TA. He can go to the off lane. I feel as though Empire's lineup right now, in the early stages, has a little bit of an edge currently.
Yeah, and we've already got our Bruno with the mini-map. Says Nature Prophet, safe lane, Darkseer off lane, TA versus Puck mid. And you're expecting an offensive tri-lane here, Bruno.
Yeah, I am. Do I mute it? Yes, I am.
You're unmuted now.
Especially when you see a Nature's Prophet, you expect to see the Nature's Prophet trying to jump into that tri-lane. So you want to contest. You want to try and get the tri-lane versus tri-lane. I mean, in the end, it's all about Team Empire seeing if they want to go aggressive as well. Team Dig doesn't go defensive and just contest. But what they want to do, by far, is just get those solos in the same lane and get the tri-lanes in the same lane so that they can actually capitalize on Furion's being able to TP whatever, whenever.
We've actually seen Nature's Prophet as well played on, I want to say off lane a few times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still very good for being able to move around the map. And we've actually seen people sacking Nature's Prophet and actually just being like, well, he was going to be our offlaner. He's now not. He's now in our jungle, and he's still able to contribute to the fights. And that turns a tri-lane into something very dangerous when you can bring in a Nature's Prophet. But we are actually going to have Team Empire pick out a Bane. Scriff, you had that on the board. He knew there was going to be a Bane. And
he had 4 out of the 5 heroes from the board right so far. So
the other one got first banned.
yeah.
Well, Bane is a hero that Empire has used forever, so I think of all the heroes, that was probably the one that was the most likely to make it in, of course, Scriff being right on pretty much all of them so far, so props to him. But this lane phase so far from Empire, it's more just they can dominate the lanes a little bit easier than Dignitas can. Shadow Shaman now going to be picked up by Dignitas. This says to me that there's a less likelihood that we're going to see an aggressive tri-lane, because Shadow Shaman in that role, not so good. You can see Bruno is shaking his head. He's like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. What we could see is the Prophet in the jungle. We could see the defensive tri-lane come out of Dignitas, go for some semblance of an early push. Now, if Empire want to split up their supports a bit, and have the Bane perhaps sitting around mid or just giving the Keeper of the Light some more experience, he can get to 3 quick, counter push top lane as hard as he can, give Empire a little bit more breathing room until their puck starts getting level 6 and whatever carry they decide to pick up here to get some more farm.
All right, let's see. Oh, Naga Siren going to be the last pickup for Team Empire, and we just need a support now for Team Dignitas. But what do you make of the final lineup of Empire with the Naga in there?
I like that pick quite a bit. Naga Siren, again, people overestimate her nerfs a lot. She's still ridiculously potent. She has a 5-second disable that goes through BKB. And I say disable, yes, you can still auto-attack and whatnot, but it's more being forced to stand your ground and fight that makes it so difficult. Gyrocopter doesn't want to be on the front lines most of the time, at least until he gets up really, really late-game items, like we're talking 6-slotted. That's when he can stand in the front and really take a beating. But otherwise, you kind of want to sit in the back, get off your Rocket Barrage. Templar Assassin is pretty much going to be the one leading the charge most of the time, and then you'll have support from your Prophet, of course, and your Shadow Shaman. So the potential between the puck, between the Naga Siren, and of course, Keeper of the Light, Naga Siren, this is like TI2 stuff. You know, we saw the Ensnare and the Illuminate and all that. So this is a bit of a blast from the past, but still very effective.
Yeah, it is. And as you mentioned, Team Empire and Dignitas do like to go for the big team fight compositions. Team Empire pretty much have theirs. You're going to have to look at Gyrocopter and TA. They're going to be wanting to pick up a BKB, because otherwise, if Naga Siren is able to initiate, they're able to get that Dark Siren position, who can move people, I believe.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. They changed that. But still, after you unleash the ultimate from Naga Siren, it could get dangerous for Team Dignitas if Empire have their mech, which they surely will be able to get. As you mentioned, Darkseer can farm great. Keeper of the Light will be able to pick it up as well, potentially. So a very scary lineup from Team Empire, and Dignitas fights are going to have to go their way. And they do have some really good fighting potential early on. Shadow Shaman's very good, and also the flat cannon on the gyro, and they're going to go for the bounty.
That's a bit of a shock to me. I'll be totally honest, I was not expecting a bounty against the kind of a team that Empire has. We talked a bit about this in the first best of 3 today, but when you're playing a bounty hunter against a team with a significant amount of AoE burst, I mean, you're talking Riptide, Vacuum, Ion Shell, Waning Rift, Illusory Orb, Illuminate, all those abilities, AoE, spam that Bounty Hunter can't really stand up to. Like, his job basically in fights is to get up as many tracks as you can. If you have the BKB, potentially do a decent chunk of damage with your Janata and Shuriken Toss, but with the lineup that Empire have, even with the BKB, it's going to be incredibly dangerous for those heroes to try to go in. So Empire, in my opinion, have the advantage in terms of initiation. They have the advantage in terms of being able to reset the fights, but Dignitas do have a bit of a better pushing lineup, I would say, in the early game, and they do have the lanes to abuse that.
Alright, I'm just being visited by Mingles down here, who Trance is going to escort out of the studio, it seems. But yeah, BKB just looks like an item that Bounty Hunter now needs as well. He will be played by Universe going on the off lane. Where do you expect? I expect Furion just to go straight to jungle. And yeah, so it's going to be Bruno, I think, laid down the positions of all the heroes correctly.
Well, actually,
Empire might have an offensive try.
Yeah.
And Vigos might have a safe lane on his puck.
This is smart by Empire, though. If you think about it, if you give Dignitas the ability to just safely farm in their lanes with heroes like Shadow Shaman, who you know aren't very potent laners...
Sorry.
Then, no, I know. I was watching it too. I thought Fog might be getting caught out because base move speed on Rasta, not so good, especially compared to somebody like a Bane. There is a 30 move speed difference. That's the better part of having boots, basically. So
I actually think that Team Empire decided maybe to go offensive tri-lane once they saw the bounty being picked. Just because they know they're up against, we're up against a Gyro and a Shadow Shaman, and there's a Furion that doesn't have much, just farming jungle. But this could be good for the bounty. You can see Universe all the way across the bottom lane has actually been able to pull out some of the creeps. Maybe just going to hold him in front of his tower. Maybe he'll take him behind the tier 1 and between the tier 2 to get the farm. He's just going to hold him in place. And yeah, this could be good for the bounty. I'd be interested to see how it kind of works out for him, but going to be a lot harder for the Gyro and Shadow Shaman.
The thing that's interesting about this matchup is Puck is actually going to have a pretty hard time harassing Universe out of the lane. But then again, the emphasis on Puck hitting 6 is a bit more important than Bounty Hunter because Puck adds a significant portion of Empire's team fight. It allows you to help line up those Illuminates, helps you to do bigger damage with your vacuum, potentially get more people inside of the wall. So I think Empire are relying on him a bit more than they are Universe. I'm not saying that Universe isn't going to have an impact in the mid-game, but definitely have to give the advantage in team fight here to Empire. So I don't think that necessarily they're going to be losing out much by putting a 1 versus 1, because of course Universe will get more, but I don't think it's really going to mean too much to them.
Yeah, and also to note...
Oh, middle lane, way too goes for the courier, he gets it! Nice snipe, he's going to be paying with his life though. I mean, he did give Scandal a kill, but he got the courier that was just walking. Nice snipe. Honestly, not sure if that was worth it.
No, sorry, I've just got Trance stood next to me, pouring a glass of Coke, pulling out a cigarette. Excellent production here, not distracting whatsoever. I was also going to mention that the wards for Empire, in terms of the enemy jungle, they have pretty good vision on what the Fury and Way Too Sexy will be able to do. So it's not only dangerous or hard for Aoi 2000 and Fogged to kind of contest this lane, but also potentially their Nature's Prophet could be in problems. But so far, Way Too Sexy's played it so far so nicely, being able to just get mid and pick up the courier.
He did end up giving Scandal First Blood, though, which is a problem, because normally a Templar Assassin is going to have a bad time against a Darkseer no matter what, but now the Darkseer is almost a full level up on him, which means level 3 Ion Chill faster. That makes CSing under the tower even a nightmare, considering that Scandal was able to get his hands on that regeneration rune, and now he's got boots of speed. So likely going to be seeing a very fast mech on him, and because Empire are running an aggressive tri-lane, this is something that you actually can't do as an aggressive lane on Dire side. You can actually pull yourself to deny even more experience and gold away from the defensive lane of Dignitas. And if you look at Aoi right now, he's got 2 CS at 3 minutes compared to the 16 and 5 right now of Blow Your Brain.
Yeah, Way Too Sexy is going to need to do a good job in jungle and be able to pick up a good amount of farm to make some room and potentially put some pressure on some other lanes. But you can also see they're currently Silent and also Goblak are looking to pressure him. Just going to get in a fight with some Treants.
Oh, the Nightmare actually disjoints the damage. So that's unfortunate.
Scandal's in position. He does have level 2 in Surge, but won't be able to dive under the tier 2 tower.
You can just see how aggressive Empire want to play this early game. But top lane, they're going to be paying with Blow Your Brain. He gets the ensnare off on Aoi 2000, but ends up going down as Fog picks up the kill with an Ether Shock. So nice movement out of Dignitas, realizing that the supports of Empire's tri-lane have left their carry.
Yeah, they do have a lane ward, Dignitas, so they are able to kind of see when there is some movement. They're able to also to see once they pull the creeps into the large camp, or heavy camp, whatever people like to call it.
And we can see Silent being just obnoxious as possible to Way Too Sexy here in the jungle, doing a bit of auto attack damage. He does level 2 Brain Sap, really close to being a kill, but Way Too, of course, does have boots, so he's going to be able to escape. Now,
Fog's got
Silent
boots.
Might be in some trouble. Bane still quite fast, being chased down by those Treants. Homing Missile's going to be there, and I think Sneaking might just fall back, try to get some extra experience. Nope, they're just going to let his team kill him. There's the Shackle. Aoi gets a Rocket Barrage off, and good night, sir. That is going to be another kill for Aoi this time instead, in the dual lane. And the Courier of Empire has finally respawned, but Dignitas still reacting very nicely to the situation.
I think Dignitas have got a lot out of this. Despite Way Too Sexy having a hard time, he's level 3, but Aoi, really important that he's able to pick up that kind of XP, even from picking off low-level support. But it's a good amount of XP, and getting the kill there as well is going to help him hugely. Interesting to see how the bottom lane's going. Vigos, currently level 5. He's 21 and 6. And Universe on the bounty, doing pretty well himself, be able to get a decent amount of XP. He's going to be hitting level 6 momentarily, and he's got 20 creep kills as well. So, as you mentioned, maybe more potent when Puck hits level 6, but I certainly feel that Universe is also, with the kind of aggression that Empire are throwing around the top lane and the jungle, that Universe, he's someone that's going to be pretty scary when he disappears. And he hasn't picked up a TP yet to just finish off his phase boots, and in mid, you can see that Snake King is going to be force backed by Scandal.
Yeah, Scandal actually got a solo kill as well, now doubling up the CS. Scandal going to go ahead and surge himself out, realizing that Universe might have made the rotation over. Is going to catch him with a track. Surge is still on cooldown for about
Level
5
1
seconds.
Shuriken toss.
Yeah,
not
Universe Not quite enough damage. He does have phase, though. He's still going for it. Janata not going to be off cooldown fast enough, unfortunately. Yep. And we can see chasing through the jungle.
Yeah, way too sexy.
Oh, nice tango. Can he juke around the trees? It's nighttime. Sneaky's coming to help him out. Nope, walked in a straight line. Just a little bit too long. Might end up losing Bane here in the process. In the meantime, Scandal actually does end up dying to Universe, but Nightmare comes off onto Sneaking. Can Universe make it back in time to potentially get anything done? Nope, no mana actually. So, TA trap going to be a bit off the mark. Drops another one. They will manage to hit it that time. There's a Janata, level 7 on Universe. He still doesn't have mana to track, but can they possibly chase him? And Aoi actually gets a solo kill while this is happening on Goblak. Kills all over the map. Sneaking secures the kill on Bane, and now it is 3-5. Kill lead right now going to Dignitas.
Yeah, and Way Too Sexy still contributing quite a lot with his Furion despite having a hard time. Brilliant teleporting, able to kind of block the escape of Silent, and they will pick up a kill, and more importantly, it was a track kill as well.
Yeah, I really think that Dignitas capitalizing on just not really reckless play of Empire, but certainly aggressive, yeah, as you had pointed out earlier. And it's just small skirmishes everywhere. You just see people solo dying in lanes. Right now, blow your brain, he does have 38 CS, so he's one of the highest on the map, actually second place at the moment, but he can't really do a whole lot without a supporting cast. It's very difficult for him to stand in the lane. They might not necessarily be able to kill him now that he's 6, because of course he does have that Song of the Siren and also picks up a casual vitality booster for the moment. So looking for Empire to continue playing this aggressive style as long as they can. And once that Shadow Shaman of Dignitas hits 6, I think the complexion of this game could change very quickly. And wow, Vigas stuck in the woods here. In bottom lane, he's tracked up. Actually decided to cancel the teleport. And he's just going to go ahead and orb back towards his tower, so he'll be fine.
And top lane, we have Empire. 3 members from their team ready to strike. Blow Your Brain has hit level 6. They've only got Fogged here, and also Aoi. Way Too Sexy moving in, but this could potentially be very dangerous for Team Dignitas, and Universe doesn't currently hold a TP, so he might not be able to rotate.
In the woods again, here comes the Ion Shell. Brain Sap is going to be there, just abusing that aggressive vision so nicely. Scandal's going to be able to get a free kill on Way Too. Blow Your Brain here just in case Aoi and Fog decided to try to engage on the side of Dignitas, but it's not going to happen. And another kill, unfortunately, goes the way of Empire, and that's 0-3 right now, by the way, for that Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, having a real tough time. Vigos currently moved mid, met by Scandal. That tower very low, so they might be able to put some decent push onto here. And I think they should be able to push down this tower if they wanted to, but actually it's just Scandal right now. I know the TA, played by Snaking, had a really tough time across top lane. Fogged going to get the worst of it.
Yeah, he's going to get shackled after the ensnare. There's the Waning Rift. Good night. Not even a chance. Call down will manage to connect on 3 right here, but I don't think it's going to deter Empire too much. They still have Song of the Siren if they want to try to use it. Coil, of course, still available as well by Vigas, and here comes the Song. The rocket is going to be used. This is probably it's going to be used to retreat. No, actually, Scandal's here. There's the Illuminate. Can they line it up in time? Here it comes. The Illuminate will land on Aoi. Just gets bursted down immediately. Track going to go off onto Silent Universe. Has a Shadow Walk go back into the tower. The Coil was already used. Mech is popped. Scandal already with the Mech at just 9 minutes into the game. Orb and Illuminate spam coming off. No one dead yet on the side of Empire. Another Shackle on Silent. Unfortunately, not on the tower. Blow Your Brain so unbelievably low. He gets Surge, but the last tower shot will end up getting the kill. Fog dies to the Ion Shell, but I think Scandal is going to be paying with his own life. Sneaking with a new refraction, a new lease on life, and he will be able to help at least assist in the kill of Scandal. And we're going to see Silent drop here as well. So a nice turnaround by Dignitas, committing a little bit too much right there from Empire. I mean, when Scandal dies that heavily for a support Shadow Shaman who's not even level 6, and you see the buyback, a little bit risky play.
Yeah, I've got to say, Aoi 2000, great buyback, at least. Getting back into that fight was very important. We have to be very impressed by Scandal on his Darkseer. He took down the mid tower, got himself a mech, came up to the fight, and it looked all about Empire. It really did. So I think just the buyback from Aoi 2000, very nice. Now Snaking on the TA. Prior to that fight, he's pretty much just got power treads and a bottle, still saving up for his blink. So he actually survived that fight, Snaking, which I think is more impressive than you know what Empire actually managed to do, because I felt that he should have gone down very quickly. He's had a very tough time mid. Scandal pretty much kept him out of the lane, as you mentioned, Darkseer versus that TA, even though you know, because he got first blood as well, Scandal. So impressed by Snaking to kind of stay alive and contribute to the fights, but it was important for him to do so.
Well, also have to keep in mind, Empire did end up getting the tier 1 top as well, like at the very, very tail end of the fight, so they managed to secure the extra gold there. And Universe kind of just chilling around here in the bottom lane, looking for a potential opening on this Bane. And they do have Templar Assassin, but I think that's going to be Silence Q to just go ahead and back off. And a Bracer picked up on sneaking, so he's probably going to be going for the drum. Typically, he'll go for the drum, he'll go for the Yasha, maybe even into a Manta. He prefers just the pure mobility instead of anything else. Nightmare.
Lane. They've got sentry wards down as well, Team Empire. Oh, there comes a Shuriken toss to interrupt Silence Fiend's Grip. And Vigos laying down a good amount of damage, and we see if Scandal can pick off Snaking. We'll be able to just chase him down, and looking not to get the kill. Fog will hold him in place, but, well, Goblak has other ideas.
A really nice exchange so far for Empire. See if they can actually get away with this. Going to see another net onto Universe. Not going to be able to Shadow Walk in this. He gets silenced as well. Barely dodges the Illuminate, but of course, the Ion Chill from Scandal going to be ever present and dealing just enough damage to get the kill. Oh, man, way too. I don't think he's going to be able to get away. The Orb will just barely clip him. One more auto attack from Vigos. Going to be more than enough. And I gotta say, the Shackle was really nice coming out of Fog, but if he had used his wards before that Shackle, perhaps they would have been able to turn around hard enough to actually kill Scandal there.
Yeah, and the Bane, played by Silent, I believe.
Yep.
I can't check him at just a moment. Really set all that up. He put down 2 nice sentry wards. They had a TA down there. They had a Bounty Hunter down there. That's exactly what they wanted to initiate the fight on when sentry wards are down. They didn't even have, for most of the fight, blow your brain. But very, very good kind of rotation, nice warding, and a great fight for Team Empire. That's going to help them out immensely. And this tier 1 tower bottom is going to be the next target. And Universe still not aware of these sentries. He now knows. Well, hindsight is lovely, but
if it was only Slark, he would have known. He would have been invisible because of his ulti. He would have known that he didn't have move speed. Would have leapt away, James. We're going to bring it. We're going to bring the Slark back as soon as he's actually in.
Support.
As soon as he's in the game, yeah, it's going to happen. But free kill for Empire, so they're going to be pretty happy about that. But this is kind of what we expected Empire's game plan to be. We know that they have ridiculously good initiation. We know that they have the potential to do a good burst as well. We saw fast Aoi died at the top tier 1 when he used to stand up there after the Naga Siren song was cancelled. He just basically melted. And Fog sitting back here behind the tier 1 looking to possibly put up some defense. They will pop the glyph, but this tower is going to be dead. Pretty much no two ways about it.
And if you look at Snaking as well as the tower goes down, who's just slightly up. He was saving up for a Blink Dagger. He's like, well, I'll just take this Bracer. That sounds good. There is a Midas, though, picked up on way too sexy, a little bit late. It's almost a bare Midas with just the boots of speed on him. And Aoi 2000, not sure what he's going to be going for. He's got 2,000 gold. Had those phase boots for a little while. But Scandal is the highest in net worth. If we check out Scandal, you can see 5,000. He's, as we mentioned before, he's got the mech. And he's just such a big factor in his team fights right now. It's very hard to kind of handle him, especially when you've got Vigos there with his Blink Dagger, with Dream Coil, and of course Blow Your Brain to either initiate or kind of counter-initiate with his Song of the Siren.
Yeah, they're abusing the tankiness of their lineup quite well. I mean, Blow Your Brain picked up the casual Vitality booster, like you said, Mech Plate Mail now on this Darkseer. It's just so hard for Dignitas to really focus anyone down. And since a Templar Assassin, I mean, the start hasn't been terrible, but it's not necessarily been that good either. That's a hero who you really want to be able to isolate heroes, get kills on her own just by sheer damage output, but they just can't do it because Scandal had his mech so fast that the damage offset of 250 health at only like 9 minutes into the game when he first got it, that is enormous. That's like a 35% increase to your effective HP as long as you land it perfectly. So Empire pressuring the tier 2, looking to potentially take a fight. They will get the Fiend's Grip off on a sneaking Universe, though, with a Shuriken toss in the back. Will manage to stop it for the moment. Call down. Going to make contact on pretty much 4 members of Empire right now. The mech is popped. It's keeping him alive for the moment. The Shadow Shaman wards do go down enough to force them back. Scandal does have the wall right by the ramp. Big Illuminate going to make contact with way 2 in the back. Do a decent chunk of damage, but Vigos kind of just overstaying his welcome a little bit, gives away a kill. The coil was there, but unfortunately just not enough follow-up. Now here comes the cleanup on the side. No, never mind. So much for cleanup. Song of the Siren is popped, trying to get Goblak and Scandal out of harm's way. And that track speed we thought was going to be a pretty big factor, having Song of the Siren.
Yeah, you could see Aoi 2000 very happy to chase with that track speed up, and it looked like Dignitas were going to be able to pick up more than just the 1 kill on Vigos. But Empire played that nicely. Even if they lost Vigos, they got out with, they got the tower, they got out pretty clean, and they're still looking pretty healthy to go and contest against this Roche, but they're going to have to be quick here. And they're sending in the illusions of the Naga, and I think they're going to be a little bit too late. Silent's going to go in first. Scandal's ready to kind of back this up. No wall available.
Universe taking so much damage. 3-man vacuum coming out of Scandal. Here comes the Ether Shock and the Shackle onto Silent, and a call down coming in the pit as well. Mech is popped, but it's not going to be enough to save Silent. Scandal going to be forced back, sneaking quite low at the moment. He does have that Aegis, just barely able to get that refraction off. Here comes the Ensnare. Sneaking, going to be dropping here for sure. Can his team actually save him? I don't think he's going to get any backup here. But actually, there isn't any detection right now on any of these heroes. So Sneaking, the Ion Shell, of course, is there, but he's going to be dropping no matter what because of the Ion Shell. They can just sit on top of him. No detection necessary.
So Dignitas effectively just took the Roche and, you know, sacked the Aegis because they could. I still don't feel that they were going to get away anyway from that situation. How do you what do you make from the recap of the decision making from Dignitas there?
Well, Aoi didn't end up dropping, so it wasn't necessarily horrible for Dignitas. They ended up getting the Roshan, which is of course a really nice boost to your experience in gold. And ultimately they lose the ensuing fight, but I still think that Dignitas feel pretty okay at the moment. They're not great, they're not in terrible position, they still have levels 2 call down, they have their Shadow Shaman with those Mass Open Wards if they want to push, probably a Fiend's Grip used here, no backup so far. On Aoi, the Fiend's Grip is going to go off after the Shadow Blade, but of course they will know that he's there, he doesn't have any health to survive this at all. Vacuum, just for the sake of it, and of course Sneaking is going to teleport in now. Dignitas want to try to turn it around, and of course that Sentry Ward in the high ground doing some pretty nice work there. Able to get that Fiend's Grip off in the first place, so yeah. You can see the other Sentry drop by Dignitas now, but they don't have any vision of that high ground.
I feel very concerned for Dignitas. They've picked up 2 sets of drums, one on Universe on the Bounty and one on the TA, but no one's building towards those BKBs, something to maybe just help the fights. I think much more substantially than investing in 2 drums.
Well, the thing is, with Templar Assassin is, her damage output is going to be pretty high no matter what items you go for. Typically, you go for the Blink as a method to get in and chase and do the damage that you need to do. But in this game, do you really want to try to Blink in to possibly Illuminate, Ion Shell, Waning Rift Illusory Orb, Dream Coil, Naga Siren's Nuke, of course, her images.
Very good at listing abilities.
Yeah, it's like there's so much that he has to worry about that going for a Blink Dagger might actually be a death sentence for him if he tries to play it too aggressively. Now, if they can capitalize properly, then they could actually make it work, but it's just a bit safer to go for the stats, go for the mobility that you would otherwise get from a Blink just in terms of move speed instead of being able to get in, and still leave yourself a way to get out.
Yeah, way too sexy, looking to go for right-click damage as well, as he's picked up a Mithril Hammer and Gloves of Haste. We'll see if he's even able to get that. Look at Goblak, he's actually just picked up a Sange, so potentially going for the Heaven's Halberd. And he's already got a completed Sange.
That's quite a nice item on a support, especially if you can get it this early. I mean, it's only 19 minutes in. That's a pretty farm keeper to light. Because of the fact that Scandal was able to get the mech for his team, Goblak can go for whatever he wants. He could have gone for a Force Staff, he could have gone for, like you said, the Halberd, which he's probably going to be making now, and that just negates Gyrocopter's damage output as soon as a flat cannon is activated. If he's paying attention, he has not only Blind with his ultimate, but he's going to have that Halberd too. So between the two, I mean, level 1 Blinding Light is 3 seconds, and then you have Halberd, which is 4 seconds of not being able to attack at all.
With Scandal as well, what do you make of the choice of going potentially towards Shiva's? I kind of felt like cooldown as well as the Furion ulti, because Furion's always going to get level, so I'm sure it's. I can't actually see or check on his level. He's level 11 now as well. Do you think maybe just going towards Pipe and just allowing like a lot of pushing power would have been something great, or do you feel like going for Shivas and being able to kind of chase and push and slow some of the right-click damage from TA and Gyro is a better option?
Well, if it is a Shiva's, then I think it's because of the fact that they have things like Track to be able to chase. Him being able to surge himself and slow the rest of Dignitas is going to help his team catch up. I mean, it is really, really nice for that, but at the same time, if he wants to just keep it a casual plate mail and go for the pipe, he can do that too. He's going to be the one leading the charge most of the time. The secondary target that Dignitas want to go for is actually going to be Blow Your Brain, but Universe being caught out here once again, unfortunately the Nightmare and the Vacuum a little bit mistimed, and they're not able to make anything big of it, but regardless of what he goes for, I think it's going to be fine. Double coil here, or actually, excuse me, single coil in the back. Fog going to get caught out completely, double damage on Vigas. and he manages to get the kills. So tier 2 going to be dropping. Dignitas in the meantime trying to rotate around the top lane to try to push the tier 1.
Yep, and they should be able to pick up that tier 1. Oh, no, they won't. It's actually a TP, but it looks like it's cancelled. They do have had a glyph as well.
Radiant structures.
Yeah, they're actually just going to use that a little bit later, and they've actually TP'd into tier 2. In comes Vigos on the puck. Not going to be chasing, and looks like, well, they are going to be able to deny the tower.
Illuminate, pretty good counter push. Pretty good. So, Blow Your Brain, he has his Radiance finished. He's got the Vitality booster, and he kind of went a roundabout way of going for a farming build, but the way that Empire has been playing, it's actually going to work out because they know they can disengage whenever they need to. They can buy the time. Going for a Radiance on Naga Siren is something that, again, we used to see a lot of during TI2, even before that, when before she got her base damage nerf, and of course the nerf to Riptide. So it's a very, very old school thing, but we're getting a chance to see right now, still pretty darn effective.
Yeah, the items Empire now have and the advantage they have, just the team fights are just going to be so hard for Team Dignitas, and it's still hard as well just to kind of pick someone off, especially when you're up against a Bane who's really been quite aggressive. You even look where Silent is positioned now. He's like, hey guys, I'm okay up here. I'll throw a Nightmare out and wait for the rest of the team. But the items that they have, they got Radiance. Scandal was going for the Shivas. He started picking up that across the bottom lane. We are going to have a tower kill by Snaking. Is he going to pay for it? There comes a net. They don't have any vision, but once again, as you say, Scandal will be able to just eat through that refraction.
Yeah, it was a risk that they tried to take, and now also by the Roshan pit, we're going to see actually Goblin get picked off here. Silent also going to be dropping. Triple coil coming out from Vigos, but I don't think they're actually going to be able to engage this, and unfortunately the Song of the Siren is not going to be popped, so the TP will end up going off from one of the members of Dignitas. Fog, though, not going to be so lucky. Gets caught out by the Shiva's guard, and that's going to be a very, very dead Shadow Shaman. So a 2 for 2. Both of the supports of Empire end up dropping, but they do manage to get sneaking out of it, and they do lose their towers. So ultimately, Dignitas kind of squeak out ahead, just barely.
And they have delayed as well. The Keeper of the Lights, Heaven's Halberd, he was getting pretty close to it. He's still pretty close. Not going to need much more gold to pick that up. But of course, Naga Siren, played by Blow Your Brain, is pretty much going to absorb all the gold on the map with his Radiance and Illusions, which he's currently sending off into the jungle. As we mentioned, he's got that kind of first item Vitality booster, just to give him enough HP. We'll see if he wants to turn that into a heart. And Aoi 2000 has, of course, picked up a Shadow Blade up top. And he's got 2,300 gold, so he really needs to get the damage out here. It'll be interesting to see what kind of second item he's going to go for. And he's picked up a Mithril Hammer. I mean, Shadow Blade's a good kind of damage output anyway, but his HP very low, and I'm still kind of looking at the option of BKBs, and you can actually see Snaking in the jungle when we get round to him. You can actually see he's going now for a BKB on top of his drum, so just avoiding that Blink Dagger as you mentioned before, as it could be more of a death sentence than anything else.
Yeah, it's just too hard for them to blink in and initiate like that. They just need to be able to sustain in the fights. You need to avoid the mass magic damage that Empire actually have. And the unfortunate thing is for Aoi and Sneaking both, if they get BKBs, that's definitely going to help them out. Actually, hold on, Silent in middle lane just getting absolutely disintegrated, and says hello to Sneaking on his way to the graveyard of Empire's side of the map. So, gonna see Universe being chased down here as well. He is mana leaked up. Oh no, the Blinding Light actually sends him to low ground. That actually completely saved him. Goblin in the meantime manages to pull Vigos to the fight. And the homing missile is going to hit Scandal here pretty much right in the head, but I don't know if they can actually try to engage this. He will be able to catch Sneaking at the very least, trying to TP out. Is he going to pop the Song of the Siren to stop the TP? He will! So, no TP out, no fun to be had. This is typically when the audience starts booing. At least if you're a TI2, that's kind of what happened. But Sneaking going to eat Illuminate here, trying to get away, potentially trying to get a kill on Goblak, but not going to be successful. Gets vacuumed back, gets netted down, and ultimately just bursted. So,
yep, and Snaking did buy his Mithril Hammer and TP before he died, so he got the most out of it he could. In the meantime as well, Way Too Sexy across the top lane was able to continue farming and started pushing the tier 2 tower. As you can see, it dropped pretty low. So Dignitas did get something out of it, but still, very, very difficult position that they're in.
The thing about Naga Siren that I think a lot of people forget too, is it's very similar to what a Phantom Lancer is. And the thing about Naga Siren is that her images are actually on demand. Like, you can pop mirror image You get your images up, you use the Manta, you have even more, and then you just burst somebody down because that way too caught on the wrong side of the woods. But Universe is here, going to throw out a track onto the Pug. Vegas actually decides to go in. Going to see a Phoenix grip on Universe. Is it going to take him down? Fog in the meantime, nice ward trap onto Vegas. Silent, unfortunately, not able to secure the kill on Universe, and Vegas basically just dies for free. So Empire not really in a position to abuse that fight at all, and that's helpful for Dignitas.
We should also mention as well, Aoi 2000, we didn't get to see it that fight, with his Shadow Blade, was very close to getting picked off by Scandal. Scandal now has a gem. I believe I'm not sure which teammate he was with, but he's got a gem. He found Aoi 2000 underneath where the ward is. You can see Empire's ward at the top, and Aoi decided, well, he actually went back to base and didn't get picked off there. So that's pretty big for Team Dignitas, being able to pick up the kill on Vigos, Universe surviving. Empire, though, looking comfortable to, or feeling comfortable to try and put some pressure down onto Roche, but a lot of members from Team Dignitas are starting to kind of congregate around to be able to counter this fight, and they're looking to take out the ward, and that's going to affect Dignitas' vision, so Empire are going to feel a lot better about this.
We'll also have to keep in mind, there is still the Naga Siren ulti. It's going to be off cooldown here in about 3 seconds. So if Empire end up getting themselves into a situation where they feel like they can't take the fight, they can disengage. Sure, it might end up giving Dignitas Roshan, but it's definitely a better alternative than just letting him get it for free, completely uncontested. So we'll see if they actually want to try to engage. Scandal, again, just a monster of net worth right now. He is out farming Blow Your Brain. He has more net worth than a Naga Siren, who went pretty much first item radiant. Sure, he picked up the Vitality booster before that, but that's only 1,100 gold, basically, negated from getting that early radiance. So Scandal continues to be a monster here.
And Vigos, as we saw a little bit earlier, didn't get to use it. Actually has Sheep Stick.
No, he used it on way 2.
Oh, he did use it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought he might have got caught out a little bit earlier. But he's got a Sheep Stick, which is great for him. And there is some right-click damage on the Furion of Way Too Sexy all the way on the top lane, just trying to maximize the gold out. But he's picked up an Ultimate Orb as well. What do you make of the kind of picking up a Maelstrom for that right-click damage?
It helps him push faster, and it also helps deal with the Naga Siren images, which are going to be more and more of a problem. If Blow Your Brain picks up that full Manta, and then he wants to go with something like a Heart Diffusal, that's the point when Naga Siren starts to become obnoxious, because you can just basically split push into your base, send in nothing but mirror images, the Manta images, and eventually just whittle down your towers. So having the option of getting a right-click Nature's Prophet onto your team is going to be always to their benefit, especially if he eventually finishes that Mjolnir. It looks like he's probably going to be stopping that for the moment, though, and trying to go for a Hex. So I think it's pretty much their only choice. Like, they don't have a ton of AoE, and the longer the game goes, the harder it's going to be to deal with that Naga Siren because of it.
Yeah, and they're Dignitas looking now to try and get their BKBs up on Templar Assassin, played by Snaking. He's very close, actually, and it could be maybe quite unfortunate he's got to start this fight with just lacking that 500 gold. He's thinking, God damn it, guys, why couldn't you take the... why couldn't you help me take the mid-tier 1 tower? And because all the tier 2 stand as well, even though Way Too Sexy is a little bit far away from that tier 2 top, which is actually very low. So could be unfortunate to start this fight. Empire look really good to take this engagement, even if they want to back off. And also Universe as well has his Ogre Club. I don't think he's got anything else to his name apart from that Ogre Club towards his BKB. So I still can't see Team Dignitas getting a good team fight kind of outcome, really. I feel that they've been not lucky, but kind of fortunate that they've been able to pick off Silent, playing quite an aggressive Bane, sometimes in the middle of nowhere, and also that bottom fight when they picked off Vigos, that was really good for them. So getting these small skirmishes where they avoid the big team fight has worked out for Team Dignitas, and I'm pretty sure that Empire are looking to tighten up their game and just be like, okay, we'll take a fight. And even for the next fight as well, even though Shadow Shaman is level 10, not yet a level 11, played by Fogged, the Mass Serpent wards are down. So this is really up to Empire what they want to do about this Roshan and where they want to fight.
Well, Vigos is teleporting himself to the top lane, but keep in mind, there's a Keeper of the Light. So, again, they can just pull him in whenever. So, if Dignitas want to try to go for this, they might try. Oh, Way Too actually getting coiled here in the top lane. This is actually kind of a complete waste. Yeah, Vigos not really doing that much right-click damage. There is a Maelstrom up, though. They're going to try to go for a man fight.
Oh, no. Here comes
Bane. Bane's here. Okay, there we go. He's going to be able to get the ultimate off before he dies. Maybe one more Maelstrom proc would have killed Vigos, or perhaps if he had used his ultimate in a different spot, might have been able to get away with it. Silent going to be pulled out by the Keeper of the Light, and free Roshan for Empire. So Dignitas actually pulled apart a little bit there. It's easy to kind of commit to a fight and think that the rest of the team is going to be coming because you see one support, but then you have Keeper of the Light just abusing his global presence.
Yeah, that was really nice. Silent actually ended up TPing to the tier 2 before Vigos even engaged. They wanted to take that fight onto the Furion, and nicely done by Goblak to bring Silent back in, as you mentioned, abusing the Kotl. So, nice pickup. And no tier 2 towers to gain right now, so just map presence after they've picked up the Aegis.
Oh, Vigos.
And looks like they will be able to pick up, potentially, Snaking here.
Yeah, he's so close to his BKB2. This death could hurt so much. There is the Surgeon, and of course, the Shiva's Guard. Mana Leak can be used on Snaking as well, and yeah, that's a kill going into Scandal's pocket. So at this point, there's 2,400 gold on Darkseer. He's got the point booster picked up. I'm not sure if he actually wants to go for an Aghanims or not. That's probably just a stat item. Yeah, I mean, a Hex would probably serve him a little bit better in this situation, especially considering the only BKB done so far on Dignitas is Aoi's.
I mean, they're looking close. They were really close on Snaking. But this tower is going to take so much damage, and Dignitas aren't really ready to defend this. I'm not sure what the Bounty Hunter is going to be able to offer from Universe in this fight. So tower looking to go down. In comes the Fury and ulti, but they're just going to mitigate it with the mech. Cooldown used as well. Scandal doesn't care so much. Yeah. And looking great for Empire. And Way Too Sexy is actually just trying to trade right now. He's pushing the tier 2 bottom. And he's actually taken it, and he'll be coming back to join the fight. Fiend's Grip on Aoi.
He's got the BKB activated. Here comes the Song of the Siren. They want to isolate. Aoi is the only one who's not going to be slept. He's going to use a Shadow Blade, though, may be able to get away. Not quite. As Vigos blinks forward, now the fight's going to resume. The rest of the members of Dignitas are going to try to salvage what is left of their base. The Rax is still being taken down here slowly. Blow Your Brain actually going to get sprouted. He does have that Aegis, though. BKB popped by Sneaking. It's finally done. But, of course, that is an Aegis now silent. So unbelievable at the moment. Getting chased down by Universe. Nice vacuum, though, from Scandal. Universe is going to have to abort it as Vigos ends up buying back. After he's taken down by Aoi, and this fight continues to just extend over a long period of time. Pulled back into the fight is Vigos, courtesy of the Keeper of the Light. Hex going to be used on Universe. He's going to be dropping here next. He does have money for a buyback if he needs to, and Fog is going to be up in just about 5 seconds. So the melee racks didn't actually fall there, and I was going to say I'd pretty much favor Empire here because the glyph was already popped and you have an Aegis, but that team fight for Dignitas actually didn't go that bad.
No, the right-click damage from Way Too Sexy on that Furion actually pulled apart Vigos as he finally got taken out.
Blow Your Brain
so low, and he's going to get caught by the shackle. Picked up as well. Not sure who picked up that kill, but
it was Prophet, yeah.
It was the Prophet. But yeah, it's Way Too Sexy, despite having a lot of trouble with the beginning of the game in jungle. His right-click damage has been really, really useful in these fights. So I wasn't sure how well the Maelstrom would actually work out, but working out great for Dignitas. And Empire will get, though, the melee racks. But they're looking now, Dignitas, to pick up the tier 1 tower.
And Way Too picks up his sight in the meantime. Aoi with the BKB, gonna not take the Illuminate damage. Long distance shackle, though, onto Vigos, gonna be able to walk away. Silent now the one in trouble. He's tracked up. Double coil coming out from Vigos. Way Too's gonna find him in the woods here. Not gonna do much, though. Silent, unfortunately, will end up going down too. Way Too, Shadow Shaman Awards, trap, Scandal in. He's not gonna be able to get out. The call down is there. The mech is popped, but it's not gonna be enough. And Dignitas with a huge turnaround. They almost wipe Empire completely off the map. They're gonna be able to get the tier 1. I don't know if they're gonna go for a tier 2. Might be a bit risky. Blow Your Brain is now up. Of course, there is no coil coming out of Vigos, but man, this turnaround from Dignitas so far, again, they lost their melee racks, but they are definitely making it a fight.
Yeah, and Universe actually picked up the gem after all the encounters there as well. I'm not sure who he took it from. I think Vigos might have had it. But just look at the difference that the BKB makes for some of the members of Team Dignitas.
Yeah.
You know, we saw actually it kind of backfired almost as when the BKB, when only Aoi 2000 had it, he actually got single targeted.
Yeah.
But once Snaking's picked up his BKB, he's so useful in the fights. And I'm not sure what Fog's going for as well, but he's got a random Ogre Club. We'll have to see if he's going to just want to do a BKB, or I doubt he's going to go for an Ags. And looking at there's actually a sheep stick as well on the Nature's Prophet of Way Too Sexy. And Universe still not looking too close to his BKB, but Empire, despite taking the mid racks, they could be dropping off in team fights if they let this go on too long. Just the kill potential of Aoi 2000 on the gyro, the TA, Bounty Shore. does contribute, but not in a huge way. But if he gets a BKB, he can single out some supports, and Way Too Sexy as well has a big kind of damage contribution to the fights. Despite, though, he's just going to get picked off by 3 members of Empire. So a nice clean pick off there on Way Too Sexy. And he's out of the game for 70 seconds. I don't think we'll be seeing him on a buyback.
Yeah, he can if he wants to, but I agree with you. I don't think he's going to. Gives Empire a little bit of breathing room for the moment. The one thing that I wanted to really mention here for Empire is that if you look at Blow Your Brain's build, he's got the Radiance, he's got the Manta, he's got the Vitality Booster, but his damage isn't really that high. His survivability is not quite that high either. Hold on. Going to see a net on a Universe here in the middle lane. Here comes the Hex. Coming out of the fog, trying to buy him some time. He will eventually get Nightmared up. We'll see if they want to try to pursue this. Oh, Goblak might be the one in trouble. He pulls Vigos into the fight right before he actually ends up dying. Now, BKB popped by Sneaking, and SS also going to be taking quite a bit of damage. There's the counter engage coming out of Naga Siren, and Sneaking's BKB will eventually wear off, so he is currently taking a nap with the rest of Dignitas. And now we're going to see a Hex off on a Here comes Aoi from the back. The cooldown's going to hit too. Hex also on the Scandal as he tries to retreat out of the fight as a very fast chicken. I don't think Silent is going to be so lucky. Rocket Barrage going to be enough to clean up the kill. And Dignitas still continuing to chase. This is the strength of their lineup. They have a TA, they have a Prophet, they have a Bounty Hunter. It is so hard to get away from this. We can see Vigos trying to do everything he can to juke. I think the Rocket's going to stop the TP. He's stuck inside of the woods. Way Too coming in. He's going to spot him out. He wants to try to get Vigos right here, but oh man, this could be really close. He gets to the low ground. He's trying to juke, but it's just so hard. He manages to blink across the lane. There's a Sciatic Trap. They're continuing to chase. Aoi walking up to the high ground, and he hits out of the Shadow Blade. The Nature's Prophet ultimate going to do a bit of damage as well, and yeah, there we go. Finally gets taken down. Hex is Aoi, but I mean, I kind of heard the Benny Hill music there. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but we, just going back, we mentioned it before. Empire could be falling off in their strengths. With the BKBs now being up on Dignitas, the fights are just... The TA's contributing so much. The supports for Empire looking more and more squishy. Scandal contributes, but doesn't seem to be contributing as much as he was in the first kind of half of the game. Sure, yeah, he's really hard to kill. He's got so much armor. He's got the Ags up. But Fogged is playing great. Like, Fogged has a free, Hex just because he's playing Shadow Shaman. He's able to put that down nicely. He's able to ward trap, and they aren't targeting Scandal. They're fighting around him, but he's not a big influence, Scandal, right now in these fights. And so what do you think Empire need to kind of focus on? Do they I mean, that Naga Siren doesn't seem to be standing up so strong against the lineup of Team Dignitas.
And this is why the Radiance build, to me, seems a little bit iffy, because if you're going to really hard carry, Radiance is something they used to farm. Hold on, bottom lane, Blow Your Brain might be in some trouble. Shadow Blade and Shadow Walk both activated. They want to try to go on. I'm going to immediately pop this on, but the BKB up on Sneaking. Can they actually save Blow Your Brain? We're going to see the Ensnare Sneaking now all by himself for the moment. Get to see the Fiend's Grip, but Silent immediately canceled out by Fog. Vacuum, though, hits for the call down. Is going to be nicely placed as well. Aoi still has that BKB pop, but Empire seemingly getting the better of this exchange so far. Going to see the Enfeeble and Sneaking eventually go down. Way Too now left all by himself. Not really much he's going to be able to do about this. Actually focusing Scandal of all heroes, but give a triple kill to Scandal as Blow Your Brain buys out.
So you know what I was going to say, Naga doesn't really stand up. What she's good at, people try and gank her, ultimate, in position, and they turned it around. And I felt that was going to turn around anyway. Once Snaking was trying to chase Blow Your Brain to be able to pick up the kill, BKB wore off and the whole team was in place. Then Scandal actually was able to turn around and really make something happen with the BKB down on Snaking. So huge win there for Empire. Don't know if they're going to really be able to push in here. They're going to want to do as much damage as possible. Cooldown going to be used. And Silent just going to Nightmare Snaking. But I don't, but I'm not necessarily sure they're going to be able to pick up the racks, and not even maybe the tower as the glyph was used. I think they might have to just back off.
Somnal Siren is back up, so if they actually wanted to pursue, Dignitas would have a very hard time doing that. But you have to consider Chakra, mech up on Scandal, so it's actually pretty difficult to just purely force Empire back. What they can do is they can slow siege. They can just keep spamming Manta, keep spamming Mirror Image, send those illusions at the tower as long as they can. Shadow Shaman wards actually dropped here, so Dignitas realized that Empire are kind of in it for the long haul. Rocket's going to be killed here in midair, not going to hit Silent. So Dignitas in a very tough situation. Their glyph is already used. This fight has huge implications for Dignitas. If they lose this, potentially they could be looking at losing a second set of racks.
Despite Mass Serpent wards being used, I feel Dignitas should be able to hold this, but it's Empire are going to have to stretch to be able to get in the base. Even if they're going to try and siege, it's going to be hard just versus snaking with refraction up, able to put down a decent amount of damage. His BKB is available to use now as well, so sending in the illusions, I don't think they're going to be able to break Dignitas. So we're going to check. Roshan's going to be up very shortly, so Empire may be looking to control the map and be able to take Rosh. But yeah, we got a Chrysalis now on Way Too Sexy. And we are going for a BKB on Fog, Dignitas are. There's a Yasha on Snaking as well. So Dignitas still looking very scary. I still feel the game's very even, despite Empire clearly having an advantage, taking down the mid-racks and the majority of the towers, but not sure how this is going to end up for them.
It is still pretty much anyone's game, but you can see these images. They're just slowly whittling the tower down. It's in deny range right now if Dignitas want to just go ahead and not give them the extra gold, but Blow Your Brain secures the tower kill. He's got his Reaver now, so he's very, very close to his heart. You can see the top lane starting to get pushed in, pinged out by Blow Your Brain, so somebody's eventually going to have to back, or what they can do is they can try to go for Roshan. If you look at the sentry placement right now from Empire, they can see the two obvious smoke paths that you would take into the Roshan pit, so they can summon back Scandal whenever they need to, courtesy of Godblack, and just go for the Roshan.
And how close is that heart to being done? Well, it is done now. He's just pulled out the recipe, so...
Oh, they want to try to go here.
Snaking, trying to initiate. There comes the Fiend's Grip.
Fiend's Grip on Sneaking. He's got the BKB, though. Nice vacuum, though, coming out of Scandal right into the wall, and Scandal already gets one kill. Make that two as Owie is going to drop in the back. The coils there from Bigas. Universe ends up going down. Make it a double right now for Scandal, and Sneaking follows suit. 4 heroes very, very quickly taken out from the side of Dignitas. They saw an opening. They saw Scandal in the top lane trying to counter push, but Keeper of the Light able to bring him back just in the nick of time and take the last crucial team fight for Empire.
Yeah, nicely done. I was saying I wasn't sure they were going to break it, but just the Scandal, the timing that he was able to come in there. Ags obviously on that on his ultimate for the wall, just a huge amount of damage, and Dignitas needed a lot more farm a lot earlier. Really, I think Empire got ahead and stayed ahead, but there were some key items. I keep saying BKB, and I've maybe emphasized it way too much. But those BKBs, if they were able to kind of get them up earlier, they really could have, the heroes could have contributed in the fights in a big way. Because Scandal had free reign of all team fights for a good 20 minutes.
He just had a phenomenal game in general. I mean, we talked about the matchup in the beginning. It's like Darkseer versus the Templar Assassin. It's just so tough to really do anything, as Way 2 ends up getting picked off there by Bigas at the end. A little bit of comedy going on here. But, of course, Empire take game 1. I gotta say, we talked about Scandal's influence in the early game. That Scepter actually made a pretty sizable difference during the last engagement. When you hit a 4-man vacuum wall, I mean, that's when Aghanim's really, really starts to shine.
Yeah, and he did that as well across the tier 1 bottom, on the bottom lane on the tier 1, when Snaking was maybe overextending when he used his BKB to try and chase down the Naga Siren. That turned around very quickly when Scandal was able to turn up with Silent on the Bane as well, and some of his other teammates, and you just saw like things explode. So yeah, Dignitas really needed it to go. I felt like Dignitas wanted to initiate on their terms and use items, and but they weren't able to really.
Yeah, it's so hard to do that against Naga. I mean, level 16, 60-second cooldown on Song of the Siren. That's like a free. You either waste your BKBs and we isolate you like we saw in the push mid, or you just simply can't engage. It's just such a hard hero to play against. So.
All right, so we're going to send it over to Bruno now as we leave game 1 with Empire up 1-0 over Team Dignitas. Bruno, break it down.
It all came down to, I think, the lanes, and if you help me here, Scriff, because here, Scriff is also here, and he'll help me.
You just sent him away. He stood up.
No, I didn't. Just stay with us. I want to see your face. There you go.
There we go. Perfect.
When we were discussing about the lanes, we were talking about how Pac was possibly going mid, and then we had the idea of having Darkseer in the offlane, the tri-lane here. But because of they had the ability to actually go offensive against a very weak defensive tri-lane, it was not even a tri-lane, it was a dual lane. While they were expecting Bigos mid, they found that it was instead Scandal. And in my opinion, this team changes 100% when we see Scandal going mid and when we see Bigos mid. Now we see this matchup downstairs. Yeah, it's true. because Bane was chasing Furion all the time. That's completely true. Way Too Sexy didn't have a fun time with
fucking
Furion.
assistant teachers. They're so annoying, aren't they? Always correcting the.
No, it's fine. That's why they are.
Okay.
Just, they do the manual labor.
We can beat him up if you want.
Darkseer versus TA, a much more favorable matchup than Pug versus TA, if only because those Iron Shell will burn through refraction charges really, really easy. And you're so tanky that even if you get slowed by a trap, you have Surge on yourself, and you can go man mode against the TA and get lots of advantage.
Also, he got first blood.
He got first blood, but because don't destroy the... Yeah, he was like, furious, I had to have a courier. Yeah, well, the Wisp is the courier, so the Wisp was coming like, yeah, I'm the courier. And then it was like, bam, die, courier. And then he was like, bam, down, Fury.
I mean, honestly, that hurts the mid lane, though. Like, giving away a first blood to a lane that you already lose.
But Furion respawned afterwards.
Like,
What happened?
Yay!
Stop.
Bounty, what?
And then he went bot lane.
Yeah, he spawned actually next to the bounty hunter and then teleported back inwards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else do you want to say? I mean, what about the bot lane, like bounty universe?
I mean, if you were going to put the Darkseer, of course, is a bit annoying for bounty hunter, but he can still last it there. The fact that Pug was actually having a much easier lane. Because even when you have a bounty hunter, of course, the bounty hunter has the more less hitting power than you. He can harass you a little bit, but when he even wants to go on you, because you're Pug, you have so many escape mechanisms that with a few like TP reactions and the ability to just move away from the bounty hunter, you will not die on that lane, or you shouldn't die. So that worked out pretty well.
I want to say as well, Pug had way more impact on the game than bounty, because track negated by this Song of the Siren.
Well, there was a huge team fight here that Dignitas got 3 track kills just at the beginning when they were fighting in Tier 1, but that was it. And then the bounty hunter was just walking crit that tracked people and didn't really get killed.
So do you think that Empire went for that aggressive tri-lane based off the fact that the last pick was bounty, which basically said it's bounty off lane, Furion's jungle, and could they have actually just said, oh, we'll put Furion in jungle, pick something like another support?
I think
in terms of going for a tri-lane.
Of the idea that because this, let's go back here, because this was not a tri-lane, like you can't go aggressive with those 2 heroes, like you really can't.
But if they didn't pick up bounty, right? Let's say you don't pick up bounty and you put in another support.
What can you put? Like, I mean, you put a Magnus here. It's still like, I mean, the problem is here, like you have this tri-lane, you can just leave someone.
But what I'm saying is, like, remove Magnus, remove bounty, actually pick another support that complements Gyro and Shadow Shaman.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then you have this.
And then potentially you have Furion down there. Yeah. And now Furion, Way Too Sexy, went for right-click damage. He was contributing a lot to the team fights. But also at the same time, how would have Empire handled this situation? Would they have done the same thing? Because how is Keeper of the Light, Bane, and Naga when you've got a Furion that can TP in? Yeah, exactly. How is that offensive tri-lane? Because surely that's got to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, even if this offensive tri-lane is really, really strong, because you have Ensnare into and Nightmare into Illuminate, which ensure that you'll keep hitting an Illuminate no matter, like, even if it's like level 3 or level 4 even. The fact that you have a Furion always changes this impact, and you might not want to contest and just try to deny something to the Furion, something which the pack is not able to do fully. Of course, it's an annoying pack. But yeah, I agree with you. If they could have gone for a support, they probably should have tried for something.
Because why do you think they went for bounty? What was it? Just to assist with the TA? To assist with chasing a blinking Venomancer. That's Queen of Pain support, blinking Venomancer. You can blink and then slow.
I don't want to be here anymore. Can I go?
All right, fine. You won't be here anymore. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going into game number 2. Empire obviously 1-0 up. Snake King's complained. An hour left to play because obviously he's 17 years old and it's almost his bedtime. So once we go to a break, we're 2 minutes delayed. So a little bit of music, some adverts. We come back. Game 2. Success.